Good afternoon.
Hello, 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 hello.
Refresh your browsers, y'all, because today is, in fact, Tuesday,
Good.
February 21st, 2012. And you're listening to Room 3026 Live.
Live.
This is episode 470.
Good gracious alive.
Yeah, buddy. A 60-minute conversation ranging from technology to pop culture.
And all points in between.
And I'm your host, Damon Nolan. We are broadcasting live.
Liggity, y'all.
Right here in Durham, North Carolina. It is lunch hour in the Onyx Tower.
Doggone it. Left my fork.
Oh. Today, my co-hosts are Mr. Derek Brinson,
A.K.A. the world's funkiest man. Stay funky, my friends.
and Mr. Michael Render.
He does it, but just not at this exact location at this exact moment. Where is he?
I don't know. But as always, we encourage you, the listener, you can participate in this conversation we have today. All you got to do is give us a call. You can call us right here at 646-929-2689. Again, that's 646-929-2689. There you go. Or you can chat with us right now. You can actually go online and go to blogtalkradio.com/Damon Nolan.
Yep.
And I click on the big red flag that says
On air.
click that, scroll to the bottom. Ta-da!
And you're
There
on
we
air
are.
with us. There you go. That's what clicking does. It's a web thing. Clearly you understand by now.
Want to give a special thanks to our teammate, Darren Tyler, for providing our theme song. It's called Without You. And that just makes me remind myself that without you,
A talisman, as it were.
we wouldn't be where we are today.
Yeah.
So I want to say thank you for your ongoing support.
And it's funky,
We appreciate it.
as an added bonus.
So let me turn to the chat room and say hi to those who are walking in the room right now. The chat room, that is.
Hello.
Of course, I see Mr. Alan Tran.
What up?
He's in the house.
What up?
What's going on, sir?
Eat a man.
We also got the one and only Miss Eileen.
Miss Smith, if you bathed.
Welcome to the show. We also got Random Brain Activity. That's Bob H. Welcome, sir. And I also want to say what's up to those who are listening on the telephone. We got Leon, Dyslexic in America. He's on the phone. Thank you, sir. And all of you listening live and in archive, no matter where you are, we appreciate you. We really do.
Yep.
Because it wouldn't be the same
No, it really would.
if we didn't have you. You know, it's just having that interaction each and every single day. You know,
Veritable waste
I wake
of
up
bandwidth
every
without
day.
you. Yeah, sure.
you know, thinking about how I just can't wait to get in here.
Yeah, pretty much.
But in any case, thanks for being here today. Look, we have some good stories lined up today.
We do?
We do. You know this, man, because we're going to talk about Netflix. At least in the first segment, or after the first segment, we're going to talk about Netflix because there's a new deal that they have just made.
Content deal?
Content deal, and I think you might like this, Derek.
I see.
I think you might like this. We're also going to talk a little bit about the latest report from Barnes & Noble. This would be the 2012 Q3 report. How well are they doing? And, of course, I'm interested in looking at how well they're doing when we're faced with the Amazon as its competitor. We'll talk about that as well as that and much, much more in this episode of Room 3026 Live. So before we do, let me share this quick announcement with you. Don't forget, on the 29th of this month, that will be February 29th, at the Briar Creek Country Club, our friend Brian McDonald will be, as president, will be hosting the Triangle AMA Digital Marketing Training Camp. As a matter of fact, we have been invited to go there and do the show live from the event. We'll probably spend 2 good hours, 1 hour having a number of discussions with some of the speakers and then doing our show live from the event. So we have been invited to do that. Also, you can join us, though. You can actually go there and get this good information. You can actually go, and there's a discount code, 10% off of the event. Our friend Gregory Ng will be speaking, one of the speakers who is going to be there. They have a number of speakers, and you want to get more information about this event, all you got to do is go to triangleama.org. Again, that's triangleama.org to get all the details on this event. I'm looking forward to going, because it's going to be an all-day event, and we're going to learn some really good information. Even though, and here's the thing, even though I don't necessarily call myself a marketer, I think that there's always going to be valuable information about how to get your message across using, right, the platform.
So then, by definition,
Digital marketing.
That's marketing.
Yeah, it is, but I don't like saying, hey, I'm a marketer, because I don't feel like I am. But I think every time we get on the internet, if we're out there talking to people in some way, shape, or form, we are in fact marketing something. We're supporting something. We're sharing an influence with our friends and family about things that we like, and no matter what that is, to be better at it, I think is a good move. No matter what you do. It's like business. It doesn't make a difference what your topic, what your business is. Just understanding the basics of business is probably key. And I think that's kind of the case here with marketing. Just being able to learn how to talk to people is good. So if you're in the area, and I know that some of you are not, as I look across the room, matter of fact, most of you right here in the chat room are not, but if you are in the area, and if you're plan to being in the area, feel free to check them out. Again, it's triangleama.org for more details. And I want to give a shout out to Brian McDonald, man, for allowing us to go through there and talking to some of these national speakers who would be awesome. So I want to say thank you for that. Okay, if you have an announcement or if you want to be a guest on the show, just thought I would pass that on. You can email me at damonnolan@gmail.com. All right. Well, are you ready, sir, to jump into FeedWatch?
I am.
Good. Well, let's do it then.
FeedWatch.
FeedWatch.
FeedWatch. FeedWatch. FeedWatch.
FeedWatch. This is where we religiously comb the blogs so that you don't have to.
We consistently do. Religiously.
Religiously. I do it all the time.
Semi-regularly.
Well, not all day, every day, but I do quite a bit of it.
Oh, fair enough.
We give you the news that you can use because that's what we do. So you best not snooze. You will not lose. Unless, of course, you just like singing the blues.
We give you the news that you can use.
That's right. That's what I said.
No, you missed it this time.
No, I thought I said that.
No.
We'll do a replay on that one day and figure that out.
A boo-hoo-hoo even.
Thank you. All right, let's jump right on into Netflix for a moment, shall we? Because I do care about Netflix, and I probably
Clearly, because
I do need to buy some shares of stock in them right now, so that
you need to learn how to say co-hosted by the world's funkiest man, Derek Brinson. That's what you need to learn.
Yeah, you just need to make sure that my money is ready to be paid, right? Because I got some things to buy, like some beads for my daughter's hair or something.
Mm-hmm.
So so let's talk about this new deal, shall we?
World's funkiest man.
Can I talk about this new deal, this new content deal?
I hear tell, but certainly go right ahead.
Let me share about this new content deal that Netflix just made. It's with the Weinstein Company. You know who they are? Mm-hmm. The Weinstein Company.
They make quite a few films.
They do.
Worthy of watching.
They surely do. This is actually an interesting deal.
They're not a distributor in and of themselves, as I have read, but they do produce content, and apparently Netflix will be at least one of their many distributors.
Well, they have, according to this article, and I'm going to list a few of the movies, and we could probably look this up too now that we're here. But there's a diverse slate of titles that will be exclusive to Netflix streaming. Exclusive. Did you catch that?
I did.
These titles will hit the service within a year of its theatrical release, and will include foreign language films, documentaries, and other hits from the Weinstein Company. 2012, I'm going to give you an example. 2012 Academy Award nominee The Artist will hit Netflix prior to pay TV on the traditional premium cable. Mm-hmm. Watch out. That would mean, let's assume
Netflix is going to get it before HBO.
Before HBO, that's what I meant to say. Before HBO or Showtime or any of these other paid premium channels, Netflix will get the movies first. Now, I see you've pulled up a list here.
This would be
these are some Weinstein films from Wikipedia.
Yep, they were.
Let's look through a few of these things to kind of give an idea. So, is there like a latest version, like the latest films that have just released?
Bob and Harvey Weinstein, 2005. After the brothers left Disney, owned Miramax Films. When they left in 2005, they formed a company which they co-founded Miramax in 1979, and they retained ownership of a subdivision therein.
So there's a long list here. As a matter of fact, we're looking right now. Like I said, at Wikipedia, there's a long list of movies.
Some of them good. Some of them.
So what are some of these that we see here? I see Rambo. This is the 2008 version of Rambo. That was really gruesome, but it's Rambo. Inglourious Bastard. That was a good movie with Brad Pitt. And,
Apollo 18 from last year. Scream 4.
I heard
Scream 4.
Apollo 18 wasn't that good.
Movies.
Let's see what else we got here.
Let's see.
Lassie, I don't clearly.
Clerks 2, which I really, really liked.
Did you like the first one?
I did. I like Kevin Smith, just generally speaking. He's got a quirky kind of a cynical voice that's mask a very, very romantic nature, which I just like. Sicko, Michael Moore film.
Halloween 2. These are the new version of Halloweens. Piranha. Okay, Piranha 3D.
Capitalism: A Love Story, another more recent Michael Moore film. That was from 2009.
There's a couple. The Iron Lady, that's a new one.
Yeah, I think more importantly,
it's good movies here.
Yeah, Iron Lady, that's this year, and The Artist, that's this year. I think more importantly than the list.
My Week with Marilyn, that's a new one.
Yep. More importantly than this list of films here is the idea that they have begun, as they typically do, somewhat changed the paradigm, because formerly companies like MGM and Dimension, which was a sub division of Miramax, the Weinstein brothers formed, were the distribution points for these films. Now, as you just read earlier in the story, looks like Netflix is going to be the first call point of independent distribution after the theater release.
That's right.
Assuming they will be released in theaters.
That's right. Well, these one and there's a couple other ones here that they have listed here that it specifically are coming as soon the year after they come out or within the first year. It looks like it says the French language World War II drama Sarah's Key, The Untouchables,
yes,
Bully.
This is
I guess
actually
it's Coriolanus will hit Netflix streaming in the future as well.
And this is some upcoming films also on Wikipedia.
Piranha 3D.
See some of the stuff that's
Butter,
distributed
Halloween 3D.
Distributed by Dimensions. I guess that's automatically means that's not going to be part of their distribution.
Escape from the Planet Earth.
Scary Movie 5.
Okay.
To be
Sin
determined.
City 2.
Sin City 2.
Oh, yeah,
that
I
might
like
be good.
that one.
That might be good.
Yeah. Bad Santa 2, Untouchable.
Scream 5. They did Scream 4 already, and Short Circuit. They're remaking.
They're going to redo Short Circuit.
Good luck.
Holy smokes!
Good luck with that.
Well, at least for me, let me tell you what this tells me. What this tells me is, and I want to welcome the guests who are walking in right now. Hello. We also got Neil. Nab 1965 is in the room. How goes it?
Bad Santa 2.
We're talking about a new deal that Netflix just made with the Weinstein Company. They are going to provide an exclusive deal to Netflix that says within the year after a movie leaves the theater, you'll be able to watch it even before they get it on HBO or on Showtime or any of these other premium paid TV stations. That is huge, Derek. You gotta admit that's huge.
I think this deal in and of itself is not so huge, as is the idea that they have decided to leverage Netflix as an exclusive distributor. The concept is huge. The idea that there are 9 or 10 films worth watching that, and at a number to be determined, only available on Netflix for a time period as yet to be determined.
Well,
not so big.
Part of the thing with HBO? I mean, part of the pull is that you're going to be able to watch some of these new movies on HBO.
That's true, but the thing about HBO distribution is
they got their own shows. Clearly, I mean,
that's
a big piece.
For me, their originally their original content is among the best content on television, bar none, far and away. Way. No one I can think of even comes close. But that's not the point that I was trying to make. I think the thing about these motion picture releases after they come out of the theater, they typically go to DVD first. And I'm wondering if the Weinstein Company is going to have the typical DVD release before it goes to Netflix, or it goes to Netflix immediately after.
Well, how do you think this plays out on HBO? Because again, if we look at this thing from the standard of how does it go to DVD before it goes to HBO?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then I would assume,
Typically speaking,
I would assume then that wouldn't change the model.
That's
my assumption.
That
may not be true, but
that's what I'm saying. If that were not true, that would be a game changer.
Well, I think it's a game changer for me. In my mind, I think it's a game changer because you have to ask yourself, why would a company go to Netflix and say, you know what, I'm going to allow you to get this before HBO or before Showtime?
It could very well. Who went to whom is still
okay. However it happens, whether they went to them first or Netflix came and says, look, we'll pay you lump sums of money for some of your content before HBO. But
maybe.
Let's assume that, and I don't know how respected the Weinstein Company is in relationship to some of the other larger or other companies.
2005 in the.
How influential do you think they are in relation to other companies like them? To say, hey, well, the Weinstein Company did it, maybe we should do it.
That's a really good question. I got to think maybe not as influential as Pixar, but certainly looking at the list of films, certainly much more influential than anybody that ended up at, say, the Cannes Film Festival this year. Those cats are looking for a break. They're looking for somebody like the Weinstein Company to pick them up and pick with their production and distribution costs.
Gotcha. Well, I don't know. I just think this is interesting, and I think that as we talk about Netflix and we talk about the future of Netflix, and clearly it is a game of content.
At this point,
you got to have the stuff that people want to watch.
That's why that is why I just am not confident in Netflix's ability to survive. They simply don't have the kind of liquid capital on hand that they're going to need to buy the content, because the rules of content and the purchase thereof have changed since they became the dominant online streaming force. I just think they were just short sighted. I think they're going to lose it ultimately.
But there's something to be said about numbers, right? If we can explore this just a moment longer, let's explore the idea that Netflix has the most customers, viewers in this industry, right? And to say that, and then you look at a company that says, I want my stuff to be watched, doesn't it kind of just make sense to say
yes,
this makes sense for them?
Yes.
I
agree.
There's another thought, though. There's another thought to this. Let's assume, I think we're under the assumption that Netflix is paying money up front to say, hey, we're going to pay you this lump sum up front, and then we'll run it. Let's assume that they do it over a period of time.
That is the
it's like buying a car or buying a house.
I mean that's the only saving grace. They're not going to be able to deal with the big dogs like that because they have lots of other options, i.e. HBO and now with HBO Go and Hulu. Those guys are. But again, the Weinstein Company, they're kind of young, they're kind of an upstart. They've got 3 or 4 kind of sort of major blockbuster, burgeoning on blockbuster releases on their docket, and a couple of more on the way. I think the Weinstein Company is a perfect candidate for this deal, and it does change the paradigm. It does change how the game is played, but somebody just a little bigger than Weinstein Company, i.e. a Pixar, could just as easily become their own Netflix. Netflix is, once again...
But Netflix, is on every single device right now. That is something you can't argue to say they're on every gaming system. They're on many, if not most, of the smartphones. They're not only in the U.S., they're in Canada, they're in Latin America, they're now going over into Europe.
I don't think
they're in a really good place right now.
I don't think I don't think the idea that they're in Canada or in Latin America and Europe only matters in terms of their ability to mail DVDs. I think the real money is moving away, and they already know this clearly because of their past behavior and their past fiascos.
No,
past
I'm
disasters.
talking about they are streaming in these places. See,
the idea of putting a stream in another country is technically trivial issue. After all, what they are doing is they have built some web development on top of AWS, Amazon Web Services, which is to say, Pixar, a company with a lot of liquid capital, instead of going and looking for a deal with another streaming company, can, with little or no effort, become their own streaming company and simply say, if you want to see a Pixar film after it gets out of the theaters,
I cannot believe you can keep saying that.
I just
They don't have a deal with Amazon.
they
though.
don't need you don't need a deal. All you need to do is
into my server and just borrow my content
no, you can't.
just
You
because
can't.
it's on your server.
But Amazon Web Services is a service that they can buy. I'm saying they go and just like you would go and host your site on a Site Monster. They could do the same thing. Just lob off a chunk of money, which they have a big pile of. Give about 80%, 90% of it to Amazon for the infrastructure. That is essentially what AWS is. It is an infrastructure.
Isn't that what HBO Go does? And whether they're on Amazon's platform or not doesn't matter. My point is that that's pretty much what you're saying.
Yes. They can become
HBO
their own
will do another
online web.
HBO.
Yes, they exactly. Nothing is stopping them except for money.
Okay.
And some companies there are content creators way bigger than the Weinstein Company that can do that, and it wouldn't surprise me if they're already doing it and not telling nobody right now. You lob off, you get a big pile of money, lob off 75-90% of it, give it to Netflix. Look, give me this pipe and all this server space and all that stuff, so I don't have to do none of that. And then the other 25 to 10%, hire me some hotshot web developers, because once you get to a browser, maybe two, Android and iPhone, you have fulfilled the 80-20 rule. The gaming platforms can come later, which is exactly how Netflix did it.
Well, I'm not gonna kill this topic much further, and I'm gonna probably just move on. But I will say I think that we've seen companies like Blockbuster attempt to do the very same thing that you're talking about. No, I'm talking about right now. They tried with the backing of another company to do pretty much the same thing that you're talking about, and they are not able to do it.
Because for one thing,
there's a big investment in this infrastructure.
I'm not so sure, and it's only a big investment if you don't already own the content. The content is the biggest investment.
No, I would say the biggest investment is going to be the infrastructure
No.
the payment system behind that to get those customers.
I think all of that is done behind AWS. I think that's all. I don't think any of these. I don't think Pixar, if they wanted to become if they wanted to do Pixar Go like HBO
I'm going to find
does,
somebody from a company and ask them that very question.
That's a great idea.
Let's find somebody. If you can find me somebody that I can ask that question to, I'd like to know. Why don't you just go to Amazon Web Services and do it yourself?
You know, I'm going
see what they say.
You know, I'm taking a little.
Let's find somebody.
I'm taking a vacation to Cali in a couple of weeks, so yeah. I'll find somebody when I'm there.
Go to the street and let's talk. Let's move on for a second, shall we? Let's talk about what I think it was Bob H. may have introduced. He mentioned Barnes and Noble's is rolling out a new device.
Uh-oh.
But before we get to that, because that's going to come a little bit later, but I do want to talk a little bit about how well are they performing. How well is Barnes and Noble performing right now?
I'm curious.
Well, I got some numbers, and I want to share them with you.
You own shares?
No, I don't. I don't really own a lot of shares in many companies. I kind of moved them down to just a few.
Oh, I see.
But here's some numbers.
That's several more than I do, but
yeah,
I'm just curious.
The overall sales for the chain increased 5%. The company took $2.4 billion through their cash registers.
So is this their brick and mortar or their online business, or is that the combination?
This is going to include a combination of the two.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the next number I'm going to give you is actually the breakdown, the split between the two. You have a $1.49 billion, that's up 2%, in high street retail. Online sales took $420 million, that's up 32%. And the Nook, in all of its forms and glories, took $542 million, which is up 38%. Now there are some bad news, so that's the good news.
You start talking about about that kind of money with those kind of numbers with a dollar sign in front of it. Yeah, sure. Good news.
$1.4 billion.
With a B.
Well, actually, it's $2.4 billion, but we're looking at these are all good numbers. However, there are some bad numbers that I want to share with you. One of those,
a bribe.
there are some bad numbers.
See what I did there?
We're going to look at the college only stores, and I didn't know they had these.
That is
Barnes and Noble's only, but it looks like they have dropped 3% in the college only stores, And I think part of that is some of the explanations that I'm reading here is that students are renting textbooks and not necessarily buying them.
Yes.
However, the digital content purchases has increased by 85% in just a single quarter. So there is some good news there. And then lastly,
it's more like opportunity. It seems like bad news for those guys that are used to writing a book and selling it for almost for as much as $300 a copy. That's
Right.
bad news for them.
Yeah.
However, it's opportunity for those other guys trying to break into the textbook market, which clearly is very, very lucrative.
and then lastly, the company holds about 30%. This is coming from the company, Barnes and Nobles. Their report says that they own about 30% of the overall e-reader market. Now the Barnes and Noble, if I'm not mistaken, reported a few weeks ago that they were thinking about getting out of the publishing part of the business and
Interesting.
focusing more and more on in this case, the
Hardware,
device. Yeah.
the gadgets, right?
And so I guess my first question is, looking at these numbers, do you think that that's a wise decision?
Yeah, because I think that publishing is clearly going in the same direction as what we used to call record production, and what we just talked about, film production. The idea of being able to produce the content is no longer cost prohibitive. It is not cost advocative, but
What word is that?
if you're broke, it's not going to be easy. But it is not something that is completely out of reach for the average Joe or Jolene.
So,
Which is to say, if I want to write a book,
Uh-huh.
the idea of publishing it is the same way if I've got this song in my head, the idea of getting it out there to a whole lot of ears is no longer that big a deal anymore. Film is the same to a lesser extent, because you still got to buy gear and do and write the story and all that. But yeah, book publishing I think it's going in that same way. It's all going to be in the cloud. It's all going to be all about content and nothing else.
So for them to say we're going to focus now, well, I guess my other question: do you think books, as far as physical books, is that going to go away in our lifetime? Do
Good
you
question.
think it'll go away?
Not in my lifetime, because I own books, and unless they all go up in smoke in a fire at once, I like the tacit experience of being able to thumb through the pages and maybe nod off and it end up on my face and I'm half awake and half asleep and I close it and put it on my bedstand and for me, short answer, no. But in the long haul, in the overall scheme of things, most of that information that I would have as little as 2 or 3 years ago gone and gotten a whole book for, I have gone and compiled a bunch of different web pages, dropped them in my Evernote or stuff to read later, and that is how I get it. So the answer to your question is not completely, but predominantly, yeah.
Okay, so it's not going away, but there probably will be like record stores. There'll be a few record stores someplace, but
I love that experience of vinyl, that noise, that analog warmth. It's there's only one place to get that, and you're not going to get it on a CD or in the cloud. But for the most part, yeah. The answer to your question, I think it's going away.
all right.
And clearly in the textbook realm, which is one of the last bastions, because we in higher learning have seen how academics somehow form this little cartel where it's just them and the club and those book authors. That has been infiltrated clearly. The barn door has been opened and the horses are on the way out.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Well, after this, after Daily Booth, so pull out your cameras. We're going to talk about what's coming to the iPad. There's a new service or a new app coming to the iPad. Let's talk a little bit about that. Also, we'll take a look at the new Barnes and Noble's Nook, because they just launched that. So I want to say thank you. So hold on, because it's coming. So let's pull out those cameras and let's take some pictures. All right, Daily Booth is where we go to take pictures. It's a free website. You can go there right now. It's www.dailybooth.com. You can take a picture with your cell phone, with your webcam, or you can just upload a picture. And once you do, share that with us right here in the chat room. And if you're listening on an archive show, don't worry about it. You can always take a picture at your leisure and share it with me. I'm over at dailybooth.com/Damon Nolan. All right. So I took one today. I tried to get in a little bit earlier so I could take a picture. And actually,
funny, we all got in earlier than usual today. I rolled in.
Well, I was struggling because we had that meeting that ran a little bit longer than I expected it to. So I was actually happy that I got in here and got the stories that we wanted to pull off and
nicely done,
still take a picture.
Nicely done.
So there's my picture there. I don't have as many faces as Michael Render tends to have, but hey, it's me. And it's what I look like. I actually cut my hair the other day.
I see.
And
you look less like I'll be sure than you did.
Yeah. Well, see, what happens is that when you cut it, like you cut the curl in half, it has this weird thing. It kind of like you have all these little poking up pieces. So it's going to take maybe a week or so for it to finally find its curl again. So I just got to be careful about cutting the curls in half next time.
Well, there you go.
Just be more consistent about keeping the hair at a certain level.
Everybody's got a hungry hawk. Actually, not so.
Oh, okay. And looks like Neil posts
it's
a
just
picture.
my man Neil who's got one.
Yeah, he took a picture of looks like a beautiful bird.
Wow.
She's so hungry, he says. Can't wait for more fresh sliced liver.
Oh.
And he can have them.
Yeah,
I don't like liver.
I am
a liver fan.
I am so not a liver fan. I eat almost anything, but liver is just one of those things with which I simply have never been able to
liver.
abide.
I don't like it.
No.
So anyway,
No.
Good picture.
Yeah,
dude. I'm just like, wow, that's dangerous.
Dude,
you see the talons on that thing,
dude. Well, you see
poke your eyeball out.
that big glove.
Yeah. And then they're like flapping.
I'm just saying, you better not have
birds.
You better not have no mouse. Hey, dude, are you on a cubicle farm?
That's what I was about to say.
Dude,
he got like
you back. Look, that is.
He's in an office.
That is.
He's not outside.
Yes, those are office separators, and those are office tiles up there on the roof, and those are fluorescent office. Dude, you brought the bird to the office. You bought a bird of prey to the office. Dude,
maybe it's what they do. You never know. Anyway, thanks for sharing the pictures. We really appreciate it.
Cool.
Yeah.
As long as Mike or Darren don't do that in our office.
You can do that down in your office. Absolutely. All right. So let's moving on.
I'll put mouse ears on one of those cats if the other one brings in.
You see that commercial with those? I think it was a husband and wife. And I think they were trying to buy a security system, but they didn't want to pay for the security system.
Oh, with the panther.
So they got the panther that's sitting in their room, and
nice.
They're like, I don't really think we need much sleep. And then he licks his lips. All right. Well, let's move on. Let's talk about the iPad. And there's a new report, and this may just be a rumor. I'm not entirely sure, but I thought it was worthy of mentioning. But Microsoft could be coming to the iPad in the next few weeks.
What do you mean by that?
It means that you could, according to this, you will have the full Office suite. You will have Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You can not only create documents, but you'll also be able to edit them.
Can't you already do that in the cloud?
I don't know where would you do that exactly.
Didn't we talk about?
You talking about the SkyDrive or whatever they got?
No, I'm talking about that services they were. We talked about this like a year ago. They were talking about having these.
Like the SkyDrive.
I don't know what they call it, I guess.
I think it's like the SkyDrive, right? Where essentially you have a cloud version of the document.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's kind of like what we have on our desktops, right? Or we have on our laptop. You have an actual Word application software has been installed on your machine. As a matter of fact, I was looking at Mike this past week. Last weekend, he had his Mac, and he didn't pay enough to get the Office suite, so we had to go only to Google Docs. But I can clearly see that the advantage of having the Docs on your iPad. You know, it's you can quickly write something or open something and edit it really quickly.
I got to tell you, man, for me, OpenOffice is the only way. I'm so done with Microsoft Office products unless you absolutely make me. There is nothing that Microsoft Office can produce that OpenOffice doesn't open and or edit, and it's free, and it's cross-platform already.
One of the things I've noticed, though, is that if you try to open up a Microsoft product, there's always going to be, to some degree, movement or changing of the format. If you try to open up a Word document that's not just words, but it might have some kind of structure to it.
I get that.
It changes, and it doesn't look as the original looks. And so I don't know, and I've watched Mike do this, is he always says, I opened this in Google Docs,
right, and
I can't guarantee it's going to look like it should. And
that.
Clearly it doesn't.
And if you have very if you have micro pixel size, really important stuff, that's another good thing. Bob H just put in the chat room. OpenOffice does not support the VBA macros. I don't think it's not. That's not a feature that I for which I hunger. But I know that has been a problem in the past. And but back to your point, OpenOffice has gotten better and better at opening stuff and making it look just identically like it appears in the Microsoft.
Does this work for PowerPoint too? Because PowerPoint even looks different.
Yes.
I mean, I appreciate what Google is trying to do, and I haven't used OpenOffice.
Yeah, OpenOffice is. I believe Java bought out OpenOffice, and truthfully, Bob H back in the chat room, he said that's a killer if VBA macros don't work in OpenOffice. It could be that the latest version is doing that. I know that at least from the OpenOffice website. I'm not a big VBA guy, but I do read in their change log that is a legality that they were struggling with a year or so, maybe 2-3 years ago. It may very well be that at this point that has been resolved. I checked back with them. I checked back with them for 4 or 5 years because I liked the idea, and maybe 1 or 2 years ago I said, okay, I'm on it now.
Well, it kind of continuing in this story, so you'll be able not only to start and create a document or file from scratch, you can also edit a document, Excel file, PowerPoint presentation, whatever. But the question came up. He said, "Well, I see this is cool. You're going to go to the iPad, but what about Android?"
Indeed.
What's the plan for that? And according to this, they said they're going to pass. This is Microsoft now. We're going to pass on the Android version right now.
I could see that. I could see that those technologies aren't going to necessarily be. That's right. Bob is on it again. Lots of folks are moving to LibreOffice. That Sun bought OpenOffice. That's right. Just like they bought MySQL, so a lot of people are moving to LibreOffice.
Is that just a new name for OpenOffice?
No, I think that is a fork in what was formerly completely open source project. I think.
Okay.
Again, don't hold me to a legal standard on that, but that's my understanding.
Gotcha. So
they're gonna pass on Android?
Is what it says right now.
Why?
I don't know. I'm trying to understand why.
Why would they go to iPad and pass on the pass on the Droid? I mean, it seems like the reason for developing this product on the iPad would be so that it would have more universal acceptance in that market space, which they are clearly losing.
Well, I guess if you look at the tablet market right now, who's really dominating in the tablet market, and I would, without having the number right in front of me, my guess is that the iPad is clearly a dominant force here. And if it's anything like our space here at work, we don't have a lot of Android tablets here.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
And then secondly, trying to get on the network through an Android device here is still a problem. And it seems like a lot of things have already sort of taken the iPad, the iOS, into its business practice.
Whether it's better hardware or worse hardware, it does seem like it is certainly got a leg up in the market penetration game, which,
Right.
as we both know, is everything. There's no substitute for being first to the marketplace.
Right. Bob H says that maybe I should call in. Yeah, you should.
Yeah, come on,
Yeah,
come
if
on
you,
down.
uh,
If you got something to say,
Yeah, absolutely.
you
Don't
got
hesitate.
This is a conversation. You can converse there, or you could call up and converse here.
Yeah, it's totally up to you.
yeah, so-
it only take 30 seconds.
yeah. So what else is up?
So yeah, feel free to call in if you want.
Yep.
But let me move on to the other story. This would be the Barnes and Noble, which unveils the 8 gigabyte Nook tablet
Right.
for $199.
See,
Now, from what I'm reading here, it's an identical version to the 16 gigabyte, except that they're slashing the storage in half from 16 to the 8 gigabytes. And
I wonder why that is.
well, maybe because they're trying to meet this price. Wasn't it like 150 or 149, something like that,
For the Fire.
for the Fire,
Yeah.
or for their version? But it looks like they're trying to basically get into the price range of where the Kindle Fire is today at 199. They're trying to get into that space. Unlike the Kindle Fire, the Nook sports a micro SD slot, which means you can pretty much get some more memory.
That's a big deal.
Some more space.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
So I guess if you want to go up maybe to 32 gigs, you can do that.
I
They
mean,
give you
assuming
that
the
option.
operating system will handle it.
Right.
but
I don't know what that is, but I'm just assuming that you can get more than 16.
expandable up to blank.
Right.
That's a big deal.
Right.
Because invariably, doggone it, I need more space on this gadget. Go buy a card. Much
That's right.
better than going and buying a new gadget.
That's right. I totally agree. There are some additional details that I got here. Number one, the color is getting a rather significant price cut as well. They're going to drop that down to $169, making it cheaper than the Kindle Touch without ads. You can get both of those, both the Touch, Color and the Nook tablet today. You can go online and get that, or you can go into the Barnes and Noble store to purchase that. So, I do want to point out one thing though, and I saw the comment earlier. I think it was Bob H that made the comment that says, "Look, these e-readers just have to be more cost. They have to be more in our range of what we're willing to pay for an e-reader."
I think that's only half right because of the idea that they are naturally going to fall. That is what you call it's law, not Murphy's law. What's the guy's name? I always forget. They're going to get smaller. They're going to get faster.
Right.
They're going to get cheaper. It's what technology does. I think that, and we talked about this before, Apple went and bought a bunch of intellectual property in order to make their gadgets more attractive. They bought, with iTunes and all the other ways to play, they bought all that intellectual property in order to encourage people to buy the gadgets. And then with the Kindle Fire, it's absolutely the other way around. They are making the gadgets cheap, but they're doing so in hopes of encouraging people to go to the Amazon store and buy the intellectual property there. Moore's Law. This is the Bob H. Show, by the way.
Hey man, I like it.
Yes,
Thanks.
indeed.
Yeah.
So and apparently maybe Barnes and Noble is trying to split the difference and maybe hit that tightrope right in the middle. Maybe it's not going to be as expensive as one and not as cheap and shall we say feature deficient as the other.
Well,
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what kind of motivation, what logic, what reason behind this is going to work.
I haven't looked at really buying a tablet at this point. My sister has one. She has a Nook, and then also iFroggy Patrick O'Keefe has a Kindle Fire. So
I know a couple
I have
people with the
friends who
Kindle
kind of have both. So and they both seem to like it.
Yeah, I just
So-
I mean, but you walk around with the laptop.
Yeah.
Most of the time when
I
I
do.
see it, it doesn't seem to bug you that much. I
like
I'm
it.
just I just haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah. Well, I think
I've got
I
the-
don't have a desktop.
Yeah,
This is my dock.
That's
This
it.
is what I do.
That's right. And I'm a little different. I mean, I do have the little early less than $100 hack Android, which does serve as a completely serviceable reader, and primarily just holds my sheet music, and for a 7-inch, I'm happy with it for what it does, but
Right.
it's just a matter of time before I jump into one of these. Of course, I'm leaning toward the Apple gadget because
Right.
I like what they are, but
I know.
I just haven't.
Mike's been rubbing off on you.
No, dude. As you may recall, I was a Apple enthusiast before Mike.
Well, let me bring Bob H on the phone.
He did call in.
Yeah, what's going on, Bob?
Hey man,
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good,
everything's good. How you?
I am hanging in there.
good.
I'm actually working from home this week. My car is giving up the ghost. But hey,
Sounds like
that's
someone
okay.
else I know.
Hey, what are you saying?
Not giving up the ghost, but it's
What are you saying? What are you getting at? Where are we going with
on
this?
life support.
Yeah,
Yes.
sounds like someone else I know who's in the room.
What are you saying? What are you going? Where are we going with this? You leave my car alone. It got
It's
me
what
here.
it is. It's what it is. Hey, my car, my little Mazda is a '97, and it's 218,000 miles on it. It's a Warrior.
I
Car's
feel
tough.
your joy. I feel your joy.
So what do you
Hey,
think
I
about
wanted
this?
To call in and talk about one other thing. There's an article on ZDNet about University of New South Wales has done a reproducible one atom transistor.
What?
So they're actually making transistors at the atomic level now. Speaking of Moore's law.
So really, indeed, that so nanoelectronics is there something smaller than nanoelectronics?
Quantum, if you want to get down to that.
Quarktronics.
That's right. Of course, the real problem is that it has to be built in liquid nitrogen and cost prohibitive at this time.
Production
at this moment.
costs,
But
yes, yes.
it's like everything else. Cost is new technology costs a lot at first, and then, like you said, will become more and more affordable as time goes on. But incredible performance increases, or not in performance, in size. To be able to make one transistor, atom-sized transistor, they'll be able to.
I mean, that does actually imply performance increase because you can put a bunch of them in a little bit of a space and make them more efficient, more effective.
True. The problem, I think, is that at that level there is a considerable power leak. So
of
Intel's
course.
working on that right now. So.
Wow, I didn't think about that. Sure. Wow.
But anyway, hey, I thought since I'm gonna be the second correspondent, I might as well call in.
Do that. Do that. Be sure. You should do that anytime you feel like. Be sure to post that link in the chat room while there's still some time.
I think I did. I did post it on the
Facebook page. Yeah.
Post it in the chat room. I'm not in the Facebook page right now.
Bah. Boo-ha-ha-ha.
Okay, there you go.
go.
Well
Just
done,
for you.
sir.
There you go.
Well done, sir.
There's your. You asked for it and you receive it.
Back to the Moore's law. Yes. Well done.
Well
After all,
done.
you are the world's funkiest man.
I am.
I won't agree to that.
Oh, he agrees. He just won't say it. He knows it's true. Stay funky, my friends.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What is this world coming to?
See?
Anyway, Bob, thanks for calling in. We really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing that link. We just made Derek's day now.
Indeed. Stay funky, dude.
I'm doing my funkiest best.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Cool beans. All right. Anyway, that's awesome. Yeah, that's the one atom transistor to keep Moore's law alive.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
pretty cool.
How crazy is that, man?
Well, let's after the break, we're gonna bring up a couple other stories. We're gonna talk briefly about RIM and
What in the world was
they
that?
have
That
a-
was noise that was
that was my
emanating.
cell phone. Thank you. We're going to talk about RIM and the new Playbook 2.0. They just launched that. And we're going to talk about why women are more likely to make your social media campaign go viral.
Huh?
Do tell. But before we get to that, let's go to Blog Roll.
Rolling up some poster sissies.
Thank you, sir.
Yow. Hi.
Wow, 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 wow. Hot dog. Oh, my goodness. You guys just keep doing it, don't you? Filling his head up.
Join us.
Blog Roll is
jump in the water
when
slide.
we take a look at what you guys are writing, what you're putting out there into the blogosphere. We got two stories today that I want to talk about.
Purify yourself in the lake.
Of Minnetonka.
A funkatonka. Rocka.
That is a reference to the movie Purple Rain. We're going to talk a little bit. So the two stories we have today, one of them comes from our girl, Miss Eileen's blog. That is the basicblogtips.com, basicblogtips.com. And the story is, when blogging, do you have the IT factor? When blogging, do you have the IT factor? In this case, that would be the IT factor. In this case, it is it is that moment where you say there's something special about this particular post, right? Many of us can write blogs. Yeah. We can write stories. Yep. But when does it have that that special sauce?
That it.
Exactly.
The it factor, not like the it girl in Hollywood, but not too far removed from that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Well, in this story, we have a dragon blogger who will provide his thoughts on sort of getting that it factor. What do you have to do? And I will say, being who you are is probably a good place to start, right? Because there's no one else like you, Derek.
I am the world's funkiest man.
I can attest to that. There is no one like you.
It's a
in this
tough
world.
job. I make it look easy because I'm really good at it.
But and in this case, of course, having your personality in your own writing definitely would come across as something the other thing is passionate.
I've been at it for a while too. So
yeah, about half a century now.
Closer to a half a century than 4 decades. Yes.
Welcome to the Funkadelia.
Funkadelphia. I like that.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yes.
I guess I can read it from the side here, and that's what I get. Funkadelphia. Thank you.
It's a veritable funktopia.
The funktopia.
Yeah.
But let me share this link with you so that you guys can check it out. But if you're listening on an archive show, or you're listening over the phone, you can go to basicblogtips.com. That's basicblogtips.com, and you can see the latest story sitting right there. Definitely make sure you check her out and say hi. And there you go. Also, we have another one. This is one I wrote actually this morning. I just was like, I got to get something out. Just need to write something. This one is called Manage Life Like You Water Plants. Yeah, I was sitting here watering my plants this morning, and it dawned on me. I was like, you know what? This has a life lesson to me somehow. And so I just sat down and wrote it. But each morning I get up and I make coffee here at the office, right? And one of the steps of making coffee is you go to the faucet, you get some water, and then you put it in the coffee machine, right? Well, the last week or so, I started getting 10 cups of water, but I only drink 4 cups of coffee. So the other 6 cups that I was getting in my coffee pot, I was actually using to fill up my plants. And if you look around the room, you'll see that Derek, and since you've been in this room long enough to know, you'll notice that one of those plants is very sensitive. That one right there is very sensitive, and it doesn't have enough water. It likes to droop, and it's very sensitive. So the other day, I started pouring a little bit of water each and every single day. It's just enough not to choke it, but not to make it,
You're talking about the one in the middle?
Yeah, the one right here. Yeah, the what do you call that?
Not the Christmas cactus?
No, the next one, right here. The one next to it.
Oh, the what do you call that?
What do you call those?
I don't know. Brown thumb. I don't know.
Yeah. So whatever it is, that's the kind that I have. But anyway, I put a little bit of water in every single day, and over the course of a week or so, the soil is very moist, and the plants are doing really well. And so it got me thinking. I said, you know what? Getting some extra water when I get coffee doesn't cost me really anything. I'm already doing it, and I just pour a little bit of water into the plants.
Double duty. It's a form of multitasking.
How could I do that in other forms of my life? And that is where this story
2 birds
took
with
off.
1 stone. Yeah, sure.
Where else could we do this? And I think if you can do this every single day versus once a week, which is what I was doing, it's it's not an effort to do that. When you get out of the shower in the morning, clean the tub. A real clean swipe of the tub means you don't have to do a huge effort on Saturday, right? So that's kind of where this is going. Anyway, you can read that and much more in that particular article. And just go to DamonNolan.com. That's DamonNolan.com. And you can get that. I'll also share that with you guys here in the chat room. So if you want to just put it in your list of things to read,
do that.
Please do. All right. Let me share that real quick with you. And I have, Bob, I actually have put some coffee in there when it gets cold. I might throw a little bit of coffee. I don't do grounds because it grew like fungus one time when I did this. So I stopped doing.
I didn't know that.
I stopped putting coffee grounds in my dirt or my soil. Anyway, let's move on to the final two stories of this show, and I know we have just moments before we are out of here, so I apologize. But let's talk about the RIM for a moment. RIM just released a new playbook 2.0, and it comes with a couple of new changes. Email being one of those, and then of course they also now provide support for Android. Android apps specifically.
Really?
So those are the two big things you can look forward to. Now,
Lucky you got that out before I got out the.
yeah, I thought you might like that. Now, of course, I was looking to like Aaron Clifford, who has a playbook, and I was thinking about him when I saw this story. But I wanted to share with him that it is a free download. You can, if you already have the OS today, you can get that immediately. It will go ahead and do that, and it's automatically going to be updated on the new devices. Now, as far as the new email client, one of the things that's cool about this is you no longer have to use a BlackBerry to get email on your tablet. Users now can access both your personal and work email via the device, and the unified inbox can also be used for incoming messages from places like Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Now, according to this story, it's not clear whether Google Plus is going to be included in that list of social networks that'll be in your inbox.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't they?
I don't know. I guess it wasn't clear that they didn't specifically say that it was or was not. So it's not. I don't know for certain, but I do know Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter will be available into your inbox. Now, in addition to that, let's talk a little bit about the Android app component. RIM is making some changes on that front as well. Not only does it have 60,000 apps on App World, but they're going to add thousands of new Playbook apps and a number of new Android apps that you can use on the tablet. So that's a good move for them. I don't know how many that will be exactly. Or or how that's going to work, but
to what effect? I wonder if that'll.
Yeah.
I wonder if that'll save them from the trash heap of technological gadget history.
Well, that's kind of where I was at. It's
Along
like
with
it's cool that
Atari
you're doing
2600 and the Commodore 64
and BlackBerry, the Playbook. Now they're also going to add a video store, so you can watch up to 10,000 films and television shows right there from your device. So you can rent or buy. That seems
why don't
to be
why don't they just add Netflix? After all, they support Android devices.
Yeah.
Android apps. Why don't you just add Netflix over there, Joe?
That's a good point. Maybe they should. So I just thought I would give that to you. And the last story, because I see we're down to less than 4 minutes, let me give you the last story. The last story is women are more likely to make your social media campaign go viral. And this comes basically from a published study from USAMP, which looked at the how men and women in the UK are using the social networks. And here are some of the things that we found. For the most part, from what I looked at the report, men and women are pretty close when it comes to what they're willing to share and what they're willing to post online and so on and so forth. But looking at the difference, we do see a couple of differences. One of which, and this comes from, looks like Gail Normand, an MD of USAMP, and he says this is good news for retail brands, and he's talking about how women are more willing to share what brands they use than men.
You're talking about retail
brands, like what pants I wear, what shirts I wear, whatever. Because of that, this is good news for brands because they're willing to then share those brands with their friends.
If the relationship is anything like between me and my wife, it's probably because they're more likely to know what brands they. I just know that these are my pants. These are
jeans.
These are the ones that I like.
But you do know products, like you do know technology products.
Fair enough,
right? So
fair enough.
Now, guys, we talk more about our opinions.
90
whereas
seconds.
Women are more engaging and they like to interact, which is some of the difference. So I will add that in addition to this, it looks like 64% of women are more likely to follow brands for their discounts and their offers, and then share those with their friends, whereas 52% will do the same thing. So women are more apt to kind of get involved with that. So anyway, that's kind of why they say that women may help you in your social media campaign go viral.
Women will help you, period.
I like women.
I'm a big fan myself.
Well, let me say thank you to you guys for hanging out with us today. Alan Tran, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Also, all of our guests, 347-734-97. All of you listening live in an archive. Miss Eileen Smith. Neil, thank you, sir. Also, Bob H., thanks for calling in and also being here with us. The Courtney Wilson Show, thank you for joining us. Come check us out tomorrow. DB Funky. Also, Leon, thank you for hanging out with us. Don't forget, we're here every Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Blog Talk Radio. So join us tomorrow, right back where we are. Also, don't forget, you can go to YouTube, /Damon Nolan to get the high fidelity episode in about an hour and some change. So come check it out. And until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And then, since Mike can't be here, Derek,
stay funky, my friends. Deuces.
Deuces.